All right, here we go. New day and 64 degrees right now. Looking outside the window at a beautiful North Main Street in Barrie. I see my favorite golden duck out there roaming around. It's just beautiful. We have a mix of sun and clouds today, and going to get up around 80 degrees. So, yeah, we still got some summer left. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy, maybe a stray shower or thunderstorm. But looks good. 58 degrees. And then tomorrow, Thursday. G, you bet. Yes. Thanks for the reminder, G. He'll be in with me tomorrow morning, God willing. Always love Thursdays. But, yeah, cloudy skies tomorrow. Maybe some clearing later in the day, and just a slight possibility for a stray shower or thunderstorm pushing around 81 degrees. And for Thursday night at Thunder Road, at this point, looks very good. All right, don't worry, don't freak out. Partly cloudy, 58 degrees. So it looks like we're going to be able to get the race in. Thanks for tuning in this morning, whether you're live on Facebook or YouTube, no matter if you're streaming up somewhere in your favorite podcast channel. Maybe you got us on the web, airedoutvt.com. Woodland Studios put that together, and they did such a nice job. It is Wednesday, August 6th, Sweethearts and Heroes Day today. Superhero teacher and 13 Pillows guru, Heather Gottlob, is our featured guest this morning in a few minutes. Can't wait to chat with her. Good morning to some of our new followers. We have Ryan in Plattsburgh, Samantha in Westerly, Rhode Island. Great town. Jake in Plainfield, and Chris here in the Granite City. We are less than 300 followers shy of 10,000. Incredible. National Root Beer Float Day today. I should mention before we dive in here, air quality alerts continue across the Northeast for many of us, especially in southern Vermont today because of the wildfires in Canada. So keep that in mind. Gosh, we have so much to get to, so much to talk about. Of course, today is, being that it is Wednesday, The World comes out today. Make sure you grab a copy. Deb Phillips from The World is with us on the line.
Good morning, JD.
Hi, Deb. How are you?
I'm good.
What's happening? What's going on? Last time I was chatting with you, I think you were on your way over into New Hampshire to Santa's Village, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
How was that?
That was an adventure. Yeah, not good. It's not good service.
I'll bet that you slept very well that night, Deb.
Oh, yeah. 7 hours at Santa's Village. That'll do it to you.
Jeez. I bet. Yeah. Listen, Deb, I know that you and Gary are so busy. You guys work so hard every single day of the week just for Wednesdays. Well, for Tuesday nights, really. But Wednesdays are the days that the World newspaper comes out, Central Vermont's favorite weekly newspaper. What can we expect in there today?
Well, in this week's World, we have the schedule for the 68th Annual Vermont Antique and Classic Car Meet at Barfield in Waterbury.
There we go.
Yep, this weekend, the gate and food concessions open at 7 a.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They have a flea market, a car corral, a parade, a street dance, and free parking. So we'll have that schedule right in the paper coming out this week.
Fantastic.
So
that's great. Yeah, that draws such a huge crowd.
Oh, it's very popular, and believe it or not, it looks like the weather for the weekend looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's great. Also, we have our quarterly senior living section for the 50-plus lifestyle, and all the other local news and events that we publish every week.
You guys do such a great job. I'm always excited to get The World. Sat out on the patio the other day. It was into the early evening hours, listening to the cricket that lives on my patio. And just sitting there listening to the cricket and the babbling brook, had a hot cup of coffee, and I had some, I would say, probably a good 20 to 30 minutes of alone time, and I was able to sit there and just flip through the world, and I love that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's the way to enjoy it for sure.
Yeah. Frankly, Deb, it's good for the mental health to do that kind of stuff every now and then.
Yep. Yep. Keeps you connected to the community.
Well, we love you guys and all of the hard work that you do. Watch for a fresh edition of The World today. Chris is going to be by with my copy, vt-world.com. Right, Deb?
That's correct.
You can see the online, the digital version is outstanding, by the way.
Yes, looks really good and easy to access, and right there on your computer.
Thanks for joining us every Wednesday, Deb. We appreciate you so much.
Thanks, JD.
And don't forget, sales@vt-world.com. If you want to get in touch with them, of course, you can always pick up the phone, 479-2582. 479-2582. Being that it is Wednesday, and we love to dive into the community calendar as often as we can, brought to you by The World, because there's really no better place to get information of what's going on in our community, whether it's Thunder Road or whatever it is. Today being Wednesday, we have the Barrie Farmers Market at 3:30 this afternoon at Courier Park. Weather's going to be perfect for it. The food trucks will be serving it up starting around 4. Live music starting at 5:30. It is just a great opportunity to come out. Bring a lawn chair, bring a blanket, maybe a Frisbee, but mingle with your neighbors, relax, and enjoy a free concert. Did I say concert? I did. Sometimes it's. I mean, look at Chris Powers. My gosh, I mean, it's just amazing. Just get out and enjoy it. Wing and Ding, of course, at the VFW Post 790 in Barrie at 5 o'clock. They do it every Wednesday. Almost forgot the National Night Out last night. Speaking of Courier Park, was incredible. Thank you to all of our first responders, medical staff, EMTs, paramedics, fire, police, everyone that was putting this on for our community last night. And thank you for showing up to that and being part of that national night out last night at Courier Park. As Deb just said, don't forget the 66th Annual Vermont Antique and Classic Car Meet happening this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just south of Waterbury, hosted by the Vermont Automobile Enthusiasts. 67 years. Incredible. They got the car show, the parade, the flea market, and so much more. Farfield, 2 miles west of Waterbury Village on Route 2. We will see you there. It's going to be amazing. The parade through Waterbury Village is always a huge, huge hit. The fashion show, the Hot Wheels racing, the youth judging, the auction, the street dance Saturday night is going to be amazing. And this year, Model A automobiles are going to be in the spotlight more than they ever have before. They've got a special exhibit this year for that. But the food vendors right there on site, and the Chamber of Commerce going to be hosting the beer tent. So get over there and get yourself a fresh, cold cup of beer and sit down and relax. Admission is free to the public. Parking is $10 on Friday and Saturday. However, keep that in mind. But it is always a great, great thing. Also this weekend, and I'd be remiss if I forgot, the United Motorcyclists of Vermont's annual toy run to benefit the Shriners Hospital for Children. Staging is going to be at Blue Cross Blue Shield in Berlin starting around 9. Kickstands up at noon. No charge to participate, but if you can donate to the Shriners in any way, a lot of people bring unwrapped toys or cash or check. The toys are then stacked at the State House steps. Cash donations go toward research and treatment at the Shriners Hospital for Children. And frankly, we are so proud here in Vermont to be doing this year after year after year. Wilkins is going to be hosting a huge toy run after party. It's going to be amazing. Also, on Sunday, Central Vermont Cars and Coffee has got their car show over at the Aspen Dental parking lot in Berlin. Starts at 9 in the morning, goes till noon. It's going to be amazing. You heard me last night with Mark Tatro talking about the Nodes Family Benefit on the 23rd, which is just going to be tremendous. Starts at 2 p.m., goes to 8:30. All proceeds go into the Nodes family who lost their barn in that horrible fire back in April. So our community is going to be pulling together live music and food, entertainment, games. It's going to be a family fun day on the 23rd of August. Again, 2 p.m. start, plenty of parking, bring a lawn chair, no coolers, and no pets is what they're asking. But thanks to Paquette Farm and Randy Henry and just so many others. The Cornerstone's going to be doing the beer tent. It is just going to be such a great day. And all of the live music, Donna Thunder, Heartless, Shane McGrath, Jamie Lee Thurston, Dave Keller, and others. Also on the 23rd, I want to mention here, the World Soccer Festival is going to be going on at Montpelier High School from 9 till 2 with food trucks and so much more. WorldSoccerFestival.org is what you want to check out for that. So that's just a quick snapshot of what's going on in our community. But there's a lot more, and it's going to be a busy weekend. G and I are going to be talking more about it tomorrow, and we'll give you plenty of reminders between now and then of what's happening this weekend. This is the time of year where we're just like hardcore bottlenecking, trying to get it all in is just amazing. I want to take this opportunity to shift gears this morning. I know some of the Vermont headlines that are trending right now are just unbelievable. Vermont hospitals begin budget presentations amid affordability crisis. Oh, yeah, I saw that one yesterday. Gosh, I'd love to have someone from the Vermont Association of Hospitals and Health Systems to join me on the air. Or maybe Owen Foster, the chair of the Green Mountain Care Board. I'll send out an invite. Meanwhile, Governor Phil Scott compiling a list of Vermont residents' SNAP data, agreeing with the USDA to reveal that information. That's got a few people worked up a little bit. Hey, at least a J. Crew factory store is coming to Williston, right? There's something that's good. Austin Robert Drummond, 28 years old, arrested yesterday in a wooded area in Jackson, Tennessee. Multiple people reported sightings of him and turned him in. That is a huge story nationally. It's all over the news everywhere. Sweethearts and Heroes on Wednesdays. This is when and you see I got my Free Hugs shirt on. This is when we take a dive into some real good stuff that's happening. I was going to say here in Vermont, but it's really everywhere. This is a student empowerment and empathy activation team that has infiltrated itself into not just schools here in Vermont, but schools across the region. They are making amazing strides far beyond the classroom by spreading kindness, spreading understanding, pushing empathy and hope in the minds of so many young kids, and just trying to get kids to be a better version of themselves. And I'm not just talking about littles here. I'm talking about high schoolers, maybe even mostly. Heather Gottlob with us. Good morning. Can you hear me all right?
Good morning, baby.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Your audio seems to be a little little screwed up, but we'll see if we can continue with you. Tell us, Heather, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh gosh, JD, I've been a teacher at Sable Valley in New York State, south of Plattsburgh, I'm going into my 23rd year now. I've taught all levels of English, 7th through 11th, but most recently I've been focused on 9th grade. And it's in that 9th grade class that I introduced to them 13 Pillows a few years ago after Tom and Rick made a visit to our school about 5 years ago. And Tom introduced this book to me, and I read it, and I asked him one day, I said, well, what do you think about me teaching this book to my students? And he said, well, that wasn't really the intention of writing the book, but, you know, he was fully supportive of me doing it, and I did. And I'm telling you, JD, it was a game changer. It was huge for not only the students, but definitely for myself as an educator. It opened my eyes to a lot that's going on with our students right now.
I'm going to, Heather, I'm going to try to give you a ring here on your cell phone and connect with you that way, because it looks like there might be some technical stuff going on your end. I'm not sure, but I think we got you here.
Yes.
How are you? You okay?
I'm great.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but you're a little muffled this morning. But tell us a little bit more for folks that may have missed that about 13 Pillows for Effective Teachers.
Sure. So about 5 years ago, Tom and Rick, Sweethearts and Heroes, they made a visit.
Yeah. Somehow, I think we've lost you, Heather. I'm not sure exactly how, but I'm going to see if I can make some changes here on my end, and we'll see if we can reconnect with you. All right. I think we got you back, Heather. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you great.
All right. You sound much better.
Fantastic.
The book here, 13 Pillows for Effective Teachers, were you part of writing that?
I wasn't part of writing the book. This was actually it was a project 15 years in the making for them to write this book. But what I have been part of is creating an entire teacher curriculum for the book. After I taught it to my own students for the first time 4 years ago, I started working more closely with Tom Murphy and Sweethearts and Heroes and created an entire curriculum for teachers to use to teach this valuable book to their students.
So just to recap here, because we may have missed this, you've taught at Sable Valley High School for the past 20-something years?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, as an English teacher, you are well aware that we've got a misspelling here in the title of the book, which is actually intentional. What's the difference between effective with an A and effective with an E?
Oh, there's a big difference, JD.
Come on, let's hear it.
So in New York State, teachers are graded, if you will, based on their performance and how highly effective they are as a teacher. And as Tom would say, he thinks that's just a bunch of baloney. Any teacher that you probably remember from elementary school straight through high school probably is memorable mostly because of the human side of them, right? Because they were effective. And that's really the principle of this entire book, JD, is the book breaks down 13 pillows, if you were. There are 13 characteristics of what makes an effective teacher. I'm going to ask you a question, JD. Tell me,
no.
yes, who's one of your most memorable teachers? Do you know their name? Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Yeah, I would say, I'd say Mrs. Rockwell, third grade.
Okay, and what was so memorable about Mrs. Rockwell?
I think that I think that was memorable for me the most was that my first impression of her was just that she was just frankly a mean old lady, and I put her in a box almost immediately, and within I would say, yeah, this was a long time ago, but I would say within probably a couple of months, I started to see the other side of her. And of course, third grade, I'm not really walking around verbalizing this. I'm not coming home saying, Mom, I've discovered that there's another side of Mrs. Rockwell that deserves respect and something that's notable here. But I just remember that. I don't know.
That's awesome, JD. That's exactly what we're trying to teach, if you will, through this book, that we're not seeing students just as numbers in the classroom.
Yeah.
That to be an effective teacher, you really have to see the human side of them. Everybody loves to be seen and valued and listened to. And that, above all else, is what students need before they can learn any sort of content. They need to feel that they are seen and they're respected, and that's what makes an effective teacher. And like I said, these 13 characteristics, this book kind of breaks it down chapter by chapter, giving little life lessons, if you will, little accolades, little stories that every teacher, whether they're brand new or very well seasoned, everybody can relate to these characteristics.
Can you highlight one or more of one of these characteristics, and maybe something that you've really incorporated into your curriculum more than any other?
Absolutely. I have a couple that I would love to share with you if time allows, but one of my favorite parts I'm going to share with you right now, I've got the book in front of me, comes from the chapter called Marathon versus Sprint, which is the first pillow, the first lesson, if you will. And it's kind of like life, isn't it? That life it's not a sprint, right? It's a marathon. You got to take it slow, right? Sometimes you take steps back, you take steps forward, long and steady, right? So there's something in this chapter called the pillow test, JD, and I'm going to share that with you and then share with you how it relates not only to my job in the classroom, but also how I've really made it part of my own life. So it's simple. When you put your head down on the pillow before falling asleep, how many times can you say, I'm glad I did? I'm glad I did what? Anything. Perhaps you're glad you had eggs for breakfast instead of a waffle. Maybe you're glad you achieved a personal best on your morning jog. You could be glad you helped the old janitor pick up trash today. Whatever it is, if you can say, I'm glad I did, you say it. What if I didn't do something? What if there was something I wanted to do, but I didn't do it? Then you say, I wish I had. I wish I had helped the janitor pick up trash. I wish I had eaten eggs for breakfast. I wish I had had a conversation with a student going through a fight with their friends. If you have more I'm glad I did than I wish I had statements, you have successfully passed the pillow test in pursuit of your best self. And you know the best part? The reflection every night builds a process of behavior. It creates a sharper consciousness in our daily lives. You're no longer counting your days, but making your days count. And each night the game resets, allowing you to reflect and prepare to do better tomorrow. And I think that is such a valuable lesson, and it's something that I've passed on to my students. And it's really the simplest thing that you can do, JD. You can do it tonight. Everybody listening can do it tonight. Before you close your eyes and settle into sleep, you just ask yourself those two questions. What's something that you're glad that you did? And what's something that you wish you had? And then tomorrow, maybe you'll face some of those things a little bit differently. And maybe the following night, eventually, those things you wish you had done, maybe day after day after day, consciously and subconsciously, you're going to be shifting away from that and just creating a better version of yourself, better choices.
Those two questions are so profound. They are, there needs to be, Tom needs to make some T-shirts that that have these questions on there. Maybe one on the front and one question on the back of the shirt.
I like that idea. Yeah.
But here's another thing is, and I know Tom and Leon and the rest of the team at Sweethearts and Heroes are often watching and listening. I have a suggestion for your whole team here, and Tom's an idea guy.
Yes.
You all know that very, very well. I would love to see a 13 Pillows poster with those two questions on it that you could thumbtack to the ceiling above your bed. Because sometimes we all know that sometimes we often pull back the sheets and get in bed and we're just exhausted, or we're distracted, or we're consumed with something that happened today, or what we forgot to do today, or something that we need to do tomorrow that we forgot to write down, or whatever. And we're just consumed. I mean, some of us probably hit the pillow and so hard that we bounce. And I understand that, but for many of us, we can get into bed, and before we close our eyes, we're looking at the ceiling, but we're not seeing what's on the ceiling. We're just seeing and hearing what's in our head.
Exactly. And I think what I love about this is no matter where you are, no matter where your head is hitting the pillow, no matter what kind of day you've had, you can put that into practice. You can make that part of your daily routine. It's powerful. It's super powerful. And I'm just a huge believer in habits. Every morning I fill out a page in my gratitude journal.
Wow.
But this JD is something that each and every one of us can do. And I challenge everyone listening to start to put that into practice. Even just one thing that you wish you had done, one thing you're glad you did. And it will give you peace of mind. And you will, I believe, if you continue this practice over time, you will wake up the next day and you will start to notice those little things. That's what I've noticed with my gratitude practice, because to fill a page of gratitude from the past 24 hours, you have to notice the little things. It's the same thing with these two reflective questions at the end of the day.
Why wasn't this type of messaging pushed in the classroom when I was a kid, man? It's like I just wish that it was all through elementary, middle, and high school. I mean, this is big stuff here. This is far beyond.
It is. This is planting those seeds that I like to call, right? Planting those seeds that you can carry with you beyond the classroom, beyond school, into the rest of your life. And some of those little habits that you can make every single day can literally change your life.
How do you incorporate this into your curriculum in terms of reading, writing? You're an English teacher.
Yeah.
Are there projects? Are there assignments that reflect on this?
I take certain elements of this book and I kind of weave it into everything that I do. So whether I'm teaching The Outsiders or teaching Of Mice and Men, throughout the book, because I have these conversations with the students, and because I might start class one day and say, oh, guess what I said last night when I was reflecting, one thing I wish I had done. And I just share that with the students a little bit, and one thing I'm glad I'm done. But then I throw it into the students' hands and I'm like, we're reading this book. We're in the middle of Mice and Men. We're talking about George and Lenny. As they go to bed tonight, after everything that's happened in this chapter, what do you think they would say? So I take those little seeds, those things that we're talking about every single day. Of course, we're applying it to the literature, but maybe some of those things are things that they can go home and, you know what, I can think about those things for myself too. It doesn't have to be about these fictional characters. It doesn't have to be, about this essay that we're writing about so-and-so. They can take those things and carry them forward into their own lives.
You and I both have a daughter. How old is yours?
17.
Mine's 10.
Oh.
I'm absolutely, I say this half jokingly, dreading the teen years, but also I'm joking. I mean, I very much am looking forward to it. But if 10 is any kind of constellation of how it's going to be, I am trying to buckle up constantly. How do you? Is your daughter in your classroom?
No, she actually had gone to another school. She transferred to my school during her 10th grade year, so I never had the opportunity to have her as a student. And she just graduated high school a year early this year. So she's off to college in less than 3 weeks, JD.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sheesh. So what have you done with her with this type of message? I mean, different school. I'm guessing this book has not been introduced to her in the classroom.
Right, exactly. But there's certainly elements of this. For example, what we just talked about, the I wish I had, and all of that. I model that at home. It's not just something that I'm speaking about in the classroom. She sees the books that I've filled out of gratitude journals. She sees my daily practice. I never ask her to do the same thing. And I just model that at home, and I give her grace and I give her freedom to kind of navigate through things on her own. But I think, and I believe, and I hope that at the end of the day that I'm consistently modeling something that's positive for her, something that maybe she's not going to reflect upon now because she's 17, but maybe in 10 years, she'll be able to look back and be like, oh, mom did these things every single day. Those habits that she had, put certain things in place that helped her be the mom that I can look up to now as an adult, and those types of things.
Does she?
It's a practice. It's a practice, JD. I don't have the book. I don't have the rules. You don't know. And I think that's one powerful thing about being a parent, right? Is that you don't have the guidebook, and we're just doing this for the first time. So day to day is going to be different, right? But again, at the end of the day, you reflect. Hopefully, if there are things consistently that you keep saying you wish you had, maybe you wake up that next morning and you make more efforts to plant those seeds to make some different habits.
Does your daughter see you flip open your gratitude journal and write something in there when life is sucking hard?
Oh, I've shared some things, not only with her, but even my students, because they're so curious. They're like, how do you fill a page every morning? And that creates some really powerful conversations. And I've shared with them, even on my really challenging days, the days that I wake up not knowing how to get through the day, just knowing that I have to just inhale, exhale, repeat, I still force myself to do that. And why do I do that? Because building those habits, it's not for the good days, JD. It's for the struggling days. If I didn't have those habits on those struggling days, I wouldn't have those things to fall back on. And that, to me, I think is super powerful. And that idea is threaded throughout this book. There's another section of the book that I wanted to share with you, called Wilting Flowers, which I just love. I'm going to read you a passage. Let me find it. My parents used to be florists, he said. They owned a nursery back in the day before my father became a lawyer, and we moved to the city. One day, we were walking through the nursery and we passed this bushel, and my dad stopped me and asked if I'd noticed anything. We took a few steps back, and he pointed at a single flower with wilt. Never walk by a wilting flower, he told me. And to this day, it's a lesson I prize above most. And it continues later on. Are the wilting flowers students? The ones who struggle in silence, yes. Plants feeling human like emotions is a little far fetched, but it's a less stretch to say that our words positively or negatively affect a wilting student. When we take a young person facing a secret struggle, he pulled on the sliding tin door and it squealed from the rust, and you sprinkle them with hope, we meet some of their basic needs of significance and acceptance. And when I read this for the first time, and I go back and I read this many times, and I often have different perspectives depending on where I am in my life when I read it, but we are surrounded not only in schools, but in life by wilting flowers. Every single one of us, you and I included, right now, are struggling with something. And my struggle may not be anything like yours. And from the outside, my struggle might look like nothing. And some people might question, well, how is that a struggle? That wouldn't be a struggle to me. But who are we to judge the wilt that we all carry around with us? And I think that's the one thing, the one common thread, no matter where you are in this world, is that to struggle is to be human. Let me say that again. To struggle is to be human. There isn't one person on this earth who has never struggled with something. And I know it's so cliche, be kind, spread kindness, but my God, it is so true.
Yeah.
It is so true because, and going back to the classroom, there are so many students wilting, and you would be surprised, JD. I hold circle conversations with my students, and man, over this past school year, I had one class, they blew me away. Half of us were in tears one day. The connections within that circle that I had no idea about, that they had no idea about, that they were able to just be vulnerable and share. And the amount of wilt that I realized was sitting in that circle, amazing. Even more amazing that these 14, 15-year-olds can carry around this wilt, and in such a way that so many people, adults included, have no idea what they're carrying.
Yeah. I hear you loud and clear. I had a circle experience with Tom and some students, all about 16, 17, 18 years old, and I was stunned at what I heard. But both amazingly positive stuff and some hardship too, that these kids are carrying around, and probably one of the biggest takeaways for me is that when they had the mic, it was their opportunity to speak, and others were forced to listen, including myself, which was not easy because I always love to follow up with questions, and I'm just curious. And when they were done and the mic was handed to the next person, I had this feeling of, wait, hang on, go back. And I wasn't allowed to do that. And I left there driving home thinking, wow, this is really amazing. And I said to myself, can you imagine if this type of stuff was being done when you were in high school?
Yeah, imagine that. I think about that all the time. Yeah.
Really is something. Back to your gratitude journal and how you bring that into your personal life, you bring it into your classroom. It makes me makes me think of Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. A international researcher, speaker, author of some incredible books, who basically says that our thought patterns are hardwired into our brains, and that our reactions, our emotions, our behaviors often are the result of our thinking habits.
Oh,
and
yes.
and that we can easily get stuck in a rut and feel like we're having the same experiences in our lives over and over again. And yes, you are, and it's a result of your thinking patterns, which are incredibly hard to break.
Yes. Oh, that is so powerful. We have the most conversations with ourselves every single day.
God, I know.
Thousands of internal conversations. And I saw a podcast recently. Gosh, I could remember which one. I can't remember. Anyway, but the message is exactly what we're talking about here, is that so often we're having those same conversations in our head day after day, hour after hour. And that's how we start to believe about ourselves.
Sure.
Are these internal thoughts. So if you and I, JD, are doing this as adults, seasoned adults, think about our kids, right? Who are having those internal conversations, who aren't having conversations similar to how you and I had with our friends when we were growing up, right?
You're right.
Yeah, it's so powerful. And how do you break that habit? If it's all you've been exposed to is just your own internal mind, right?
Yeah. And it's let's be honest. It's hard sometimes to listen when
it's incredibly hard
when you're listening to somebody else, but in the meanwhile, you're having a hard time shutting off or pausing the voices in your own head that are telling you things, and they could be thousands of different thoughts that are happening just in the waking hours of your day. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm not.
Sure.
I'm not good at this. Or I think I'm great at this, but I'm not really sure. And we're carrying around all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And then we're expected to hit pause and to stop and clear our heads and listen to our husbands, our wives, our boyfriends, girlfriends, our teachers. It's not easy. It's not easy.
But if we don't practice that, JD, how do we turn it off? And how are we able to successfully listen if we don't put that into practice? That's what so much of the characteristics of this book, and even, the practice of Circle, obviously, right, is the power of listening. You get a circle of people, one person's doing the talking. More people are listening than talking. But that's not something that we typically do day to day. Even at home, somebody starts talking and then somebody interjects because you said something that made them think of something else, and you never get to finish what you had to say. And we are not a listening society, are we?
No.
Or a very successful one.
No, you're spot on. I was reading your bio last night, and I saw that you went to Plattsburgh State University, and you were in NCAA Division III cross-country runner.
Yes, correct.
I said to myself, as soon as I saw that, I got the mental toughness, ding, ding. There's somebody, so it's, in my opinion, and the only time I run is when I'm being chased or if I'm chasing someone, like my kid. But here's what I know about runners, is that it's almost impossible to be a runner, whether you're running competitively or you're running in high school, track or field, college, or just to get in shape. It's almost impossible to be a runner and not have an incredible amount of mental toughness, because what you're doing is repetitive. You're hot, you're tired, your legs are burning, you need a drink, you want to stop.
Yeah.
You're going uphill. You're wondering how much longer this hill is going to last. You're wondering how you're doing. Where are you placing right now? How many people are behind you? How many people are in front of you? Who do you need to catch up with? Are you going to get that trophy, that medal? Are you going to fail today? How's that ankle that's been bothering you for the last couple of weeks? These are all things that are running through your head, I'm sure, while you're running.
Mm-hmm. And I love that analogy, JD. As I've grown older, I definitely stepped away from running, but I have kept that, I guess, that mental toughness with other things. That I got into hiking last year. That's become a huge mental toughness thing. I'm a fitness instructor. I do yoga, so that takes some mental toughness, right, in a different way, to be present and to not let those outside thoughts keep infiltrating your mind when you're trying to stay present. But yeah, the root of all of this that we're talking about today, and making those small changes, is to find that mental toughness.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that kind of the core of what someone might define as success in life?
Sure.
Right? And it comes down to hope, right? I think about these students, I mean, they're young, right? They haven't built up that mental toughness, many of them, through the different challenges. They'll get there. But with that, and just that feeling of hopelessness, there's just a lot going on with our students. So to shy away from or turn a blind eye to what the students really need, isn't going to help them, right?
Absolutely true. And I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking about the word perseverance and how, man, I wish someone said to me when I was in high school, I wish someone could have pulled me aside and said, look, I got a snapshot of your future. You're going to be paddling through some really rough waters that you're not aware of. You need to learn now what it means to persevere, because you're going to have to put your head down and push through some things in your life. And frankly, some of those things are going to be some not so great decisions that you're going to have to pay the price on. I wish someone had done that with me, and given me that heads up. But you're doing that.
And it made me think of something I did this year for the first time, JD. It was probably halfway through the school year, and I decided to share some really personal stuff with my students. If you can imagine, I put 4 sentences up on the board. I didn't let them know that these things had happened to me, but I read the 4 statements, and I said, this happened to a really close friend of mine. I said, I want you to get in groups and tell me what kind of character you think this person grew up to have based on these 4 things that happened to them. It was amazing. The stuff they were just dissecting all of these statements and like, well, because of this, she probably grew up to be really insecure. Because of this, she probably grew up to be a strong mother, like all these things. So they're all sharing out, and I read the 4 statements again, and I said, you know what? I said, that friend is me. I said, these are 4 things that have happened to me, and I'm sharing this with you today, not for you to feel bad for me, for anything that I went through, things like that. I said, but I want you to see that I still show up. I show up every day. I said, guys, in my 23 years of teaching, there have been days where it's a struggle to get to work because of things that I'm going through in my personal life. It's a struggle to get up and put on my happy face and teach what I have to teach that day. I said, but I show up. I said, and that's my message for you. Like, just keep showing up, because you never, ever know. Like, your tomorrow could look different from today. and a year from now and 5 years from now. I'm like, just keep showing up. That's all you got to do. And I'll be honest, these 4 statements, like, these are things that I think probably only 1 or 2 colleagues in that entire building know from my 23 years. But I felt comfortable enough with my group of students this year. I thought it was a message they had to hear. And, you know, if it helps 1 or 2 kids just by doing a quick 5-minute lesson and for them to see a human side of me, and then I can dive into all the Englishy things that I have to do, like I tell them, then it's worth it. But the kids today, I'm not saying that I didn't need that when I was growing up in my generation, but the kids today, I feel, need that more than ever. They need the human side of people.
Yeah. Wow. Well said. Tell me about the Brave program. Tell me about your freshman students.
Yeah. So, like I said, about 4 years ago, I took the students through the book. I did not binge it like you typically binge a book, right? You know, you binge stuff on Netflix, right? Typically, when you're in an English class, you binge a book, like you spend a month. You're going to read the whole book. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. But this book, just because of how it's set up and the 13 powerful messages in it, just every week or 2, we would read a chapter and then get back to it in a couple of weeks. So I kind of took the year to walk them through those 13 pillows, if you will, those 13 characteristics. And just a different way of teaching the book. There is also a program. I know many schools that have taken part in it, and I've been able to be exposed to it quite a bit. The Braves program, which is giving students empowerment, giving them the chance to be leaders and to take on roles in the classroom, outside the classroom, throughout their district. And it's just really powerful when you can sit back and you can be the moderator and let kids have a voice and let them be the change, if you will. It's a really powerful thing, a great seed to plant, if you will, for these students.
Heather Gottlob is a 20-plus year teacher at All Sable Valley High School, getting ready for a new school year right in front of her, teaching 9th grade English, and also one of the big-time team players with the Sweethearts and Heroes organization. I want to know your story of how you met Tom, how you met Sweethearts and Heroes, and how you became part of all of this.
Gosh, I think it was 5 years ago now, JD, that they came and they did their presentation at Sable. And I remember Rick came to my classroom and spoke with some of the students after their presentation. And I was going through a challenging time. I was going through a divorce at the time, and Rick stood at the front of my classroom and he said to the students that being burned was one of the best days of his life. And it led to this powerful conversation. And I spoke with him. I don't even know if he remembers this, but I spoke with him after, and he shared with me that it's like a phoenix rising from the ashes, right? But to hear his story, and I know you know Rick's story, and just again going back to mindset, right? Like, so many people could go through that same instance and everybody's going to walk out of that differently, right? But to hear him share his story, and really his literal survival story, but really his mindset survival story, like he chose to have that mindset, right? I mean, you can't give somebody mindset. Like, I can't tell you, JD, to sit and reflect every single night. I can try to instill those habits, but at the end of the day, it's you and your thoughts and what you're thinking is powerful, but it's completely up to you, the mindset that you're going to have, how you're going to approach things, the perspective that you're going to have on anything that happens to you, small or big, every single day. And that was super powerful for me, to hear that message when I was going through a troubling time for myself. And since then, I come back to that time and time again, and I think about that mindset. And it wasn't soon after that that I was connected with Tom, and then he shared this book with me, and he was such a personable guy. And I mean, Thomas talked to like hundreds of people every day, it seems. Like I don't think the guy sleeps.
I know.
I don't know how he does what he does, but since that, like, I could call him anytime and he'll make it seem like he's got nothing else on his agenda.
I know.
And that's how it's been. That's how our friendship's been for the past 5 years. And I'm sure he's exactly the same with you, but
he is
a special guy to be able to do that. He makes me feel valued and listened to and appreciated. And it was because of that, that I just soaked up this Sweethearts and Heroes stuff. And it just seemed natural that, after reading the book, that of course, why would I not want to share some of these messages with my students, whether we read from the book or not? This book has planted seeds in my life that I just have naturally made part of my day-to-day life. So because it's part of who I am, of course, I'm going to share that with anybody in my world, whether that's students or friends or family or whatever. But, yeah, it's been a powerful journey, JD.
You guys, I'll tell you, and I know I said this last time, and damn it, I'm going to say it again. Every single one of you that I have met from Sweethearts and Heroes has brought something so profound, not only to my airwaves and to my followers and listeners, but also to me on a real deep personal level. I have just absorbed so much from all of you, and every single one. I
appreciate hearing that. That means a lot.
I mean, Pat, Rick, Tom, it doesn't matter who it is. All of you have just brought so much to the airwaves, and I cannot possibly thank you enough. I hope that I get to meet you. I hope that we can all get together sometime.
Oh, I would love that. Maybe
Tom will spring for a couple of nights at a hotel so that we can all get together in one place and just be together. That would
be fantastic.
I'm
gonna put that on my bucket list.
I'm telling you, man. And it's like, and I said to God, I think I said it to Joe, who was on with me last time, that it's kind of a dream of mine that I can be part of a circle with just Sweethearts and Heroes people.
That'd be powerful. Super powerful. Let's make it happen, JD.
Oh, I would love to. Heather, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Oh gosh, thank you. I love having these conversations, and this was super powerful. Thank you.
If your child's school is not yet connected with Sweethearts and Heroes, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. Get on sweetheartsandheroes.com. That's the point. That's the go-to right there. Learn about them. Bring them into your school and bring them into your child's life. It is going to make a huge, huge difference. I might even say guaranteed.
Thanks, JD.
Thanks, Heather. I hope to meet you soon. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
What a conversation this morning. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, for being part of the experience this morning, and thanks to our sponsors. We're gonna have some fun tomorrow morning. G is going to be with us. He's going to be kicking things into the gear and getting ready for the weekend as we approach it. Rex is going to be with us Friday. It's going to be an amazing weekend. We have a lot of stuff going on in our community calendar. Thanks for being part of the experience this morning. Make sure to give a like, a thumbs up, a share of any episode that you enjoy, any episode that has had an effect on you. God bless. Take good care. We'll catch you tomorrow morning here on Aired Out.